So we're going to start our session 4 for Ashtanga Yoga. And I just want to remind you that we had this book as kind of our guide. I want to just give you the ability to see the structure of the practice from overhead. So we start with a little bit of a warm-up, and then and that could be something simple like cat-cow or a forward fold. It doesn't have to be a huge warm-up. Then we're doing Sun Salutation A or Surya Namaskara A, Sun Salutation B. And so if you were to get this book, you would see the structure. You have Sun Salutation A, Sun Salutation B. Then you go through and there's a standing sequence, and we do most of the standing sequence. And then after, there's what he calls the primary series. And so these are a lot of the seated postures that we were taking. However, there's many more in the book. After that, he goes into an intermediate series, which we skip right over, and then there's a finishing sequence, and that is basically towards the end where we're doing our bridge postures and then resting. And we also skip a lot of those because a couple of them, like shoulder stand and plow posture, aren't something that I prefer to do when I'm not able to see people physically. So that's it. So that gives you an idea of like the overall structure. What does it look like? There's a warm-up, there's sun salutations, there's standing postures, there's seated postures, there's postures lying down, and then there's rest. So with that, let's get started in our practice. And how about we start off in child's posture today? So big toes together, the knees apart. If you're working with a block or two, make sure you have them handy. And then we'll sink down and relax the neck, letting the head rest somewhere, whether it's the mat or arms or hands. And really letting the head get heavier so that you can feel a little bit lighter in the neck. Letting the hips get heavy, closer and closer to the heels. The arms, releasing them. And then taking your attention to the breath. And when the heart is down this way and we're stretching the back, it's pretty easy to feel the breath moving from the back. So noticing the back, maybe the upper or the middle or the lower back. Watching how the back changes with every inhalation, how it changes with every exhalation. And we want to start to shift the breath now into a nice deep breath and consistent, smooth, and even. So let's inhale through the nose and then open the mouth and exhale out like you're fogging a mirror. Keep the mouth open, fog inwardly. Close the mouth, exhale through the nostrils. Remember, we're building the breath by inhaling and expanding the belly, so we engage the diaphragm, work all the way up to the chest. And on the exhale, release from the chest back down into the belly. We're working with prana in our practice, life force, and prana rides the breath. So the breath is a vehicle that transports prana, life force. And so in this practice, specifically, really invoking a nice, strong, forceful, and yet controlled breath called Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. Next inhalation, let's rise up to table, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Start to move through cat-cow. Connect to the spine, connect the breath to the spine. And then finding a cow posture with the belly sunken in to get to our downward facing dog. You can go right into it by rolling over the toes, lift the knees, or you can take the hands one step forward and then roll over the toes. And then you find nice distance between the hands and the feet that you can support in this position without feeling overwhelmed. You might move the feet to the edges of the mat when you're in downward facing dog, or you might bend the knees. Especially in our first time, we want to be able to explore and move. Let the head go, look right through the legs or maybe towards the navel. And then let's look forward, step walk or jump the feet forward to the top of the mat. I still have a little bit of that rib injury. I'm trying to get over that, so I'm not going to be jumping it today. And then we'll exhale, fold. Big toes together, heels apart. Let's unroll the spine. So with the knees bent, keep the head and the arms loose. Start to unfold little by little. Once the shoulders come up, you can move them around. You can move the head around once it's risen. And that's really all I personally need for a warm-up. I feel like the back has been worked on. We had a little bit of a fold. And then the sun salutations are the warm-up for the rest of the practice. So let's start with sun salutation A. Bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center, shoulders back and down, chin slightly in so we have the neck stacked on top of the rest of the spine. And we'll take this one breath, one movement. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Engage the thighs, the glutes, find a back bend. And exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, hands down, step walk or jump the feet back to plank posture, top of the push-up. With control, maybe knees down for support. Exhale and lower, keep the elbows and the wrists lined up. Inhale, come into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Or child's posture. It's always there for you if you need it. But we take about 3 to 5 deep breaths. Eventually, downward facing dog becomes a resting posture. The first time I heard that many, many years ago, I said, what? But it is true. Eventually, it becomes the place where we can catch our breath and focus. Next exhalation, step walk or jump the feet forward, forward fold. Come up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up to standing. Rise with a flat back or unroll consciously. And then we come into our back bend. Exhale, samastitihi. We go right into the next one. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, hands down, float back and lower. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. A few deep breaths. I find sun salutations to be probably the most effective way to jumpstart the physical body in the mornings. So if you have 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes per day, just wake up, do your morning routine, and then make sure you get a few sun salutations in, maybe a few stretches after. You'll see the rest of the day impacted very positively. Now when you're ready, step walk or jump forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, samastitihi. Let's do one more. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling. Exhaling, breathing. And in terms of how many would you do, 3 and 3 is good, but 5 and 5 is a lot more impactful on the body. I've always noticed You get much further with those extra two of Sun B and Sun A, or Sun A and Sun B. When you're ready, step, walk, or jump forward. Come up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, Samastitihi. Let's start with Sun Salutation B. So, bending the knees and inhale, reach the arms all the way up into fierce posture or Utkatasana. Exhale, fold over the legs, release down. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, hands down, feet back, lower. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog with hips up. Exhale, downward facing dog, and then we step right foot forward, left heel down, all in that one exhale if we can. Inhale, reach the arms up into warrior A, and then exhale, hands come down, step the right foot back and lower. Inhale, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog right into warrior A on the left side, so left foot forward. Inhale the arms up. It's okay if you're at a different pace. Exhale, hands down, step back, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog, breathing. Maybe child's posture. Heels up in your downward facing dog is totally fine. Knees bent is totally fine. As the back of the legs open, you can straighten a little bit more. You can get the heels lower a little bit more. When you're ready, float forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, come up. And standing, Samastitihi. Once again, exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plank to forelimb staff pose, lowering all the way. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, right foot forward, left heel down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands down. Step back, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog to left foot forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands down, step back, lower. Inhale, and exhale. By now you'll probably be feeling the shoulders, the arms, the strengthening of the biceps and triceps. I love sun salutations because I can sense a very big difference in my core, it really activates the core, and in my arm strength. So the more I do sun salutations, over time, the more push-ups I can do. Let's look forward and step forward. Come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold, and that's very important for bone health. Bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, Samastitihi. Bone health and back health. Third time when you're ready. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Right foot forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, breathing. Pull the belly up. Pull the pelvic floor up. And then step forward. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, rise. Exhale, Samastitihi. Okay, couple deep breaths. Now we can start with our standing sequence. So we'll start with our forward folds, Pada Angushtasana. So we are having feet hips distance, maybe sitting bones distance, maybe a little wider, depending on your flexibility. Hands to hips, back towards the sacrum, engage the low body. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, fold, grasp the big toes with the peace fingers. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, fold, release the head. Soften the eyes. So we're working with the eyes with what's called a drishti. So the gaze, where is the direction of the eye focus? And then what's the quality of that focus? Is it a hard stare or is it a gentle, unfocused gaze? And that's what we're aiming at, gentle, unfocused gaze. Come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, stand right on top of the hands for Padahastasana. And try to get those wrists in nice flexion. And then here, inhaling halfway, lengthen. You can bend the knees if needed. Exhale, fold. I alternate if I'm feeling pretty tight in the back of the legs. I alternate between bending and straightening. I love this posture for the pull on the spine and the shoulder blades. And we're creating a wedge with the feet, which is going to encourage the back of the legs to stretch even more. And inhale, lift the head. Exhale, bring hands to hips. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And exhale, samastitihi. Extended triangle posture. Step the right foot to the back of the mat. Open the arms up. This is where maybe you will want to use a block. I'll just grab mine just in case. So we have a wide stance. Arms open. Turn the right foot to face the short side of the mat. Left foot faces long side. Reach out with the right arm. Lower it down to the right leg. Could be the thigh. Could be the shin. Could be grasping the big toe with the peace fingers if you're ready. Or hand to block on the outside of the foot. Inhale, lift the left arm up. And then try your best to keep straightening the trunk so that it's vertical, or it's parallel to the long sides of the mat. It's directly over the right leg. Look up past the left thumb. Let your eyes follow all the way to the left. When I have low back issues, I like to take extended triangle posture. And we'll look down at the right foot. Inhale, rise up to standing. Take your block with you if you're using one. Switching hands, switching the direction of the feet. Left toes facing short side now. Reach out with the left arm and lower it down to the leg or the block or the foot. Inhale, right arm up. Look up past the right hand. It's a nice chest opener, hip opener, and beautiful stretch for the back. I think I'm going to keep practicing with a block today. So if you're working with one, again, inhaling, lifting, back up to standing, take your block with you. We're going to go into revolving triangle. So from here, we'll go ahead and shift to face with the right foot forward, shifting over to the right. Hands can come to the hips. Left toes need to face forward along with the right. And then we inhale, lift the left arm up with the block if you're using one. Exhale, fold and bring that block down or the hand down to the floor or the right foot, or the right leg. And then we press with that right hand, press into the right hip, square the hips off. Look over to the right and maybe take that right arm up towards the sky. Look up past the right hand. So whether you have the hand risen or not, you're still turning the head to the right and getting some rotation through the spine. And we'll exhale, right hand down. You can pick up the block. Inhale, rise up, arms to a T. Exhale, pivot to face the left side, left hand to hip. Right hand can reach up and make sure you have toes all facing forward, even on the right foot. Exhale, right hand down. And then here, we press into that left hip, turn the head to the left, maybe take the left arm up and look up past the left hand. And we'll bring that left hand down. Inhale, rise up to standing, open the arms up. And exhale, Samastitihi, top of the mat, palms together. Extended side angle posture. Step the right foot to the back of the mat once again. Open the arms, pivot the right foot to face short side. And then we go into a warrior bee for a moment, and then take the right elbow to the right thigh, left arm up and over the left ear. Look up past the left hand. If available, hand might come down to a block to the outside of the foot or to the outside of the foot right on the mat. You always want to find what is called the edge. So if you go past the edge, it's potentially painful and highly uncomfortable. But if you're at the edge, it's manageable, but it's uncomfortable, and it's providing a sense of challenge, but one that you can handle. When you're ready, inhale, rise up, arms open, exhale, pivot to the other side, lunge into the left knee, forearm to thigh, right arm up and over, or situate the hand to the left of the foot. We're going to revolve this. We won't need the block for that. Inhale, rise up to standing, arms to a T. Exhale, palms together. Pivot. So we come into that lunge, facing backside of the mat. And then you can bring the left knee down if needed, or either way, whether knee is down or not, we're going to take that left elbow on top of the thigh or to the outside of it. Use the right hand to keep that thigh still while you situate the elbow. And then palms together in a prayer position, looking past the right elbow. Do your best to keep the left heel down if possible, but if it's too much, lift the heel, or again, bring the knee down. Looking past the right elbow. And inhale, rise up, open the arms. Exhale, palms together, pivot to the other side, lunge in, situate the elbow, come back to prayer position with the hands, and look past the left elbow. And we'll inhale, rise up. Exhale, Samastitihi, top of the mat. All right, wide leg forward fold. Bring the right leg out. Open the arms. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, find a back bend. Exhale, fold and bring the hands down. So this is letter A. And then come up halfway, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, bend the elbows. Let the head go and maybe walk the hands so they line up with the feet. So you're just stepping them back a couple steps. Looking past the legs, maybe turning the toes inward, getting an ankle stretch. And inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to hips. Rise all the way up to standing. So this is letter B. We're going to keep the hands where they are. Inhale, come into your back bend. Exhale, fold, and the hands stay right here in letter B. So same posture, Prasarita Padottanasana, but we're in letter B, and there's A, B, C, and D, and we'll do all of them today. And we'll inhale, rise all the way up to standing, open the arms out. This time take hands behind, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, fold. Keep the arms just like this. Next inhale, rise all the way up, open the arms. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, fold this time. Letter D, grasp the big toes with the peace fingers. Come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, bend the elbows and fold. Keep pulling the trunk down, using the fingers, the bind to the toes. And we'll inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to hips. Soft bend in the knees so you can rise with the flat back. And we'll exhale, Samastitihi, top of the mat. Intense side stretch. Go ahead and step your right foot about halfway out and bring the hands behind, finding opposite elbows with the hands, or maybe prayer, reverse prayer position with the palms. Pivot to the direction of the right foot. Right toes, left toes all facing forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Once you're here, send the right hip back, left hip forward. So you might stay halfway, or you might keep floating downwards, bringing the heart towards the right foot, nose towards the right toes. Right hip back, left hip forward. So each posture is held for 5 breaths. However, I do 3, 2, 5. Inhale, rise. Exhale, pivot to the other side. And then we'll inhale. Once you've got the feet situated, look up. Exhale, fold. Take the left hip back, the right hip forward. The reason I do 3, 2, 5 is because 5 can actually feel very, very long. And if I feel that it gets boring, and I know this is going to sound probably not so good, but if it gets kind of boring and that prevents me from wanting to practice, I found for me the solution was cut down the amount of time I'm in the posture, depending on the posture, and then it's not so bad, and I'm ready and willing and excited to get into the practice itself. Inhale, rise. Take the arms out. Rotate the wrists, especially if you were in that reverse prayer. It gets really stiff. And then we'll come to Samastitihi. And then little by little, we build up the will force so that something that was 3 breaths and felt, feels like manageable at 3 breaths. Once that's so manageable, the posture is comfortable enough, then 4 breaths, 5 breaths is something I'm going to want to do because now I need an extra challenge. So we have to play these mind games with ourselves in order to do the things we may not always want to do. So we're going to go into balancing to Utthita Hasta Pada Angusthasana. So we have hands to hips. The feet can go off of the mat if you have a lot of cushion on the mat. If I have a mat plus carpet and then the hard floor, it means a little too much air under my feet. And so to get a little bit more solid ground, I step onto hard floor or this hard carpet. So hands to hips. Inhale, lift the right knee, grasp the right knee with the right hand. This might be good, or you might grasp the big toe with the peace fingers and take the leg forward. And we'll take the leg out to the right, whether it's bent or straight. For extra challenge, you can turn the head to the left if you feel stable. Remember, we could have the left hand on something to help us balance, give us some support. Bring the leg to center. Draw the head down and the leg up. And then keep the leg risen and take the hands to the hips. Point the foot. Spread the toes. It's letters A, B, C, and D of the same posture. And release. All right, shake out whatever tension has arisen. And then we'll start with the other side. Hands to hips, feet spread. Lift the left knee, grasping it with the left hand, or grasp the big toes with the big toe with the left bee's fingers. So I also love this posture for the reason that it gets my core lit up, and also stretches the back of the leg at the same time. So it's personally, I feel it to be a very effective posture. We'll take that left leg out to the left, turning the head to the right. Bring the leg back to center. Exhale, head down, leg up or knee up. And then keep the leg risen, hands to hips, point the foot, spread the toes. And release, let go. All right, so we're gonna finish the standing sequence now, and we're gonna move over to the primary series. So let's come to the top of the mat and inhale, reach the arms all the way up. We're taking a sun salutation to seated. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, go through a vinyasa. And then from here, we're coming to seated. So you might take that jump up, cross the ankles, and then come to your seat. All right, so we start with Dandasana, feet forward. Knees can be bent if needed. Hands down next to hips, shoulders back and down. Lower the chin, pull the pelvic floor up, and pay attention to prana, life force flowing through the trunk, the vital organs. Notice the heart beating the chest. Life flowing through the center of the body. Paschimottanasana, Western stretch. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Grasp the big toes with the peace fingers. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, bend the elbows to fold. You can always bend the knees to be here. As long as you have the toes up, the feet flexed like this, you will get a stretch in the back of the legs. Every exhalation, do your best to relax into the posture. And inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, grasp the feet, thumbs to the big toes. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. So the other part of the structure of this practice is there are vinyasas throughout, right? So we started with them, and then we took a break as we went through some standing sequence. And then in our primary series, we insert those vinyasas again. Before we go into the first one, though, we can go into our counter position to that fold. So either Purvottanasana, reverse plank, or reverse table. So either way, we're lifting the hips, whether feet are planted and knees bent or legs are straight. And exhale, release down. So because I like to consolidate things, because I like to save time and, be efficient where I can, this is where we take those boat postures. Now my Injury is not really going to let me stick in a boat posture for long. So you're here with legs up. I'm going to go one leg at a time to keep things fair for my body. And then we'll go ahead and cross the ankles, come forward onto hands, feet, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then we come back to seated. Then we go into, so there's a few different seated postures. And I was taught this very specific way, a specific structure. But once I started using the book more, I started to get more creative, I guess. This one I love. This is actually a seated posture. We haven't done this, I don't think. But it's also a variation of a standing posture that we did not take because it requires balance. So what we would do here is, if possible, take that right foot on top of the left thigh into a half lotus. And once you're here, you can press the right knee down. I love it. It just kind of like opens up the hip and the knee for me. If that's not working out, you're just going to keep the right foot where it was. So either way, take the right hand behind the back. And it might just sit right on top of the low back. Or if you have the foot on the thigh, you might grasp, and I know it's a bit of a stretch, you might grasp the right foot with the right hand. So not necessary, but either way, keep the right hand behind because it changes the posture. Then inhale, lift the left arm up, and exhale, fold over the left leg, grasping some part of the leg or the foot. And inhale, rise up. Exhale, switch legs. I know it's asking a lot to go into a half lotus. It's not something we're usually doing. But if you want to ever try working on it, there's different techniques to slowly get there. Bring the left hand behind, staying maybe behind the back, maybe finding the bind. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, hinge. Bring the hand to the leg or the foot. Now we're not going to throw in a vinyasa here. We're going to go into the next posture and then take our vinyasa. Inhale, rise. And now we're going to go into another stretch similar. Left leg extended, right foot to the inside of the thigh. If you already had the foot here, it's still going to be different. We're using both arms this time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. So now we don't feel as restricted with that arm behind the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend the elbows. If you find forward folds to be challenging, and I personally do, it's always helpful to straighten the arms on the inhale, bend the arms on the exhale, and not focus on bending the back, but bending the arms with the breath. And inhale, rise. Exhale, switch legs. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, bending the elbows. So we're looking past the right toes. And inhale, rise up. So boat posture. Remembering this is a variation, so this would be 3 boat postures in a row after we're basically done with a bunch of seated positions, but we're incorporating them. So when you're ready, cross the ankles, hands down, feet back, lower, back bend, downward facing dog, and back to seated. We're going to go into twisting. So right foot down. Yeah, we'll skip a bunch of the other seated postures that are, I find fun, but hard to do with a rib problem. So right hand behind, fingers face back. Right foot down, left toes up. And then a couple options. We can grasp this right leg and hug it with that left arm as we turn to the right. Or we can bring the arm outside of the thigh and turn to the right. For me, the trick is to turn the forearm down, and then you get some really nice pressure with the shoulder rotated inwardly and that arm pushing against the leg gets the tension out from around that left shoulder blade and shoulder. And inhale, come to center. Switch. Set up the arms. And twist. Keep the right foot active, toes up. Inhale, come to center. And into boat. Both legs up or one foot down, maybe straight or bent. And we'll take a vinyasa. You can always skip one or two, but do your best to provide that challenge and still, feel like you are able to manage the practice. So we are in seated, and then we will come to, we'll just go right to, we're at a good pace. We'll add something. We did this last week, I think. Take the legs out into V formation. And then right from here, we'll see if we can grasp the big toes with the peace fingers and start to hinge forward. So we're going to stay here a little longer than we normally would for this posture because it's such a great one for opening the back of the legs. Now, while you're here, you might take the hands to they might be in the legs, or they might be to the insides of the feet. Or you might take the hands underneath the legs and lift the legs a little bit, and it increases the stretch. You might be able to go further. The gentleman who has that book that I showed you in the beginning, he goes all the way down, chest to the floor, shoulders on the floor. So wherever you are on that spectrum, just letting yourself breathe. And we'll inhale. Rise up halfway or come out of it completely, and then fold right back in. Today, maybe you take the arms forward. Couple more deep breaths. And we'll inhale, rise. Bring the legs back. And then from here, I think we did this last week too. Let's go into a supported, same thing we were doing, but this time we're going to be balancing. This is called Upavishta Konasana. So taking the legs out, we're in like a boat, but we have the legs out and we're grasping the big toes with the peace fingers, balancing on the sitting bones. I find this to be actually much easier than a boat posture because of this tension that we build between the arms and the legs. Once you get the right tilt, then you can be here for quite a long time. So he takes this and he rolls it back onto the back with the hand. If you know what I'm talking about, go for it. If you do not, we're not going to do it today. But we're going to see if we can bring the legs closer together. And then we're going to come out of it. Bring the feet down, and then we'll come into lying on the back to go to our finishing sequence. Once you're on the back, bring the knees into the chest. Give them a squeeze. Maybe circle the knees with the hands. Circle the other way. So into bridge posture. There's different variations, but we're going into the feet planted with the heels close to the glutes. Walk the shoulders back. And then when you're ready, pull the pelvis in, lift the hips. Keep walking the shoulders back. And then find the elbows pressing down with forearms up if you tighten the chest and shoulders. Otherwise, maybe interlace fingers under hips, straighten the arms and press them down. Keep space between the neck and the mat. Keep the knees drawing towards each other so they are not separating, but they're still over the ankles. Release the arms, exhale, lower. Take a breath. And inhale, lift back up. Release the arms, exhale, lower, take a breath. And inhale, rise back up. Release the arms, exhale, lower, bring the knees into the chest, and rock, up to seated. All right, so into our forward fold here. That was just a little much. Rocking wasn't a good idea for me. Okay, so we got the toes up. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. We're going into letter B, Paschimottanasana. Grasp the feet as we did before, thumbs to the big toes. So this is a counter posture for those back bends. So we're always working with opposites when we're working with the body. In yoga, we're very intentional about we do one side, we do the other side. We do one side, we do the other side. Everything even. Even the breath is also even. And when we'll inhale, rise up and come all the way down to the back. So on the back, let's actually rise back up. And before we go to the back, we're going to come to a finishing posture. And I find this to be very lovely at the end of every practice. So you can sit with ankles crossed, or if you can get into a half lotus, go there. Or if you can get into a full lotus, go there. But it's really not about the shape of the legs so much as what happens intentionally. We bring the hands to the knees. You can bring the thumb and forefingers together and the palms flipped up. And then bring the chin down and pull the pelvic floor up. And now that we've done all this work, focusing the mind on the spine, on the trunk, and again, that life force, prana moving through the trunk. We can use the breath to help us with this, so that as we inhale, we can take the mind up the spine, up the trunk. As we exhale, we bring that breath or our attention down back at the spine. Just taking a few more breaths, inhaling up the trunk and spine, exhaling down the trunk and spine. And bringing the head to center. You can relax the legs. So we're going to add in today a sequence for the neck. This is a part of my own practice. I'd like to make sure we get it in. First, let's rotate the shoulders in circles. So you can fold hands into each other and just rolling. Roll the shoulders the other way. Take the shoulders up, back, down, and begin to turn the head left and right a few times. Head to center and then up and down. Head to center. Lift the right ear up towards the sky. Head to center, left ear up. Head to center, tilt left, right. Drop the head, shake it out. Bring the head to center, cross the wrists. Bring the fingers to the base of the neck, right above the clavicle bone. Push there and then lift the chin. And bring the head back to center. Release the hands and come all the way down to the back. Bring the knees into the chest. Give them a squeeze. We're going to find a twist, arms open, and let the knees fold over to the right. Turn the head to the right and then turn the head to the left. And just allowing the breath to be natural now, no longer needing to control it. And bring the knees to center. Take them over to the left. Turn the head to the left and then to the right. Simple spinal twist, reclining. Center, give them a big squeeze, and then we're going to prepare for Shavasana, taking the feet to the corners of the mat. shoulders are gently curled. Eyes are closed. Forehead is soft. Relax through the temples, the jaw, the lips, the scalp. Relax the neck. Relax the shoulders. Relax the chest and the upper back. The rib cage, solar plex area, and the middle back. The belly and the low back. Relax the right arm, the left arm. Relax the right leg and the left leg. Bring your attention to the right hand, resting it, and the right elbow, the right shoulder, the right armpit, the right waist, the right hip, the right knee, the right ankle, and the right foot. Relax the left hand. Bring your attention now to the left elbow, the left shoulder, the left armpit, the left waist, the left hip, the left knee, left ankle, left foot. Bring your attention to the belly, relaxing there. Go upwards towards the base of the rib cage. Now the chest. Now the collarbone. Now the whole front of the trunk. Maybe becoming aware of that space and relaxing it simultaneously. Bring your attention to the low back, the middle back, the upper back, and relax throughout the back. Soften the neck, front, sides, back. And into the head, feeling the whole head. Becoming aware of the whole head and relaxing. Now the whole body is a full, complete unit with many opposites, but all part of one whole. Relaxing the whole body. Relaxing the whole body. Resting completely. Start to become aware of the breath without changing anything about it or changing the body in any way. And then start to notice the hands and the feet, the back of the head. Begin to take a few deep breaths. Notice the body is relaxed, the mind is more relaxed, the emotions are more settled and in control. You are in control of the emotions. And we'll stretch the arms behind, point the feet forward, lift the belly button slightly, and exhale, bring the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the knees. And then we'll come to seated. Bringing the palms together, thumbs to the heart center, closing the eyes. And give yourself a moment to enliven the feeling of gratitude in the heart center. You may be thankful for the practice. You may be thankful for something beyond that and beyond that and beyond that. It may be a vague feeling, but just really let yourself feel that gratefulness, that thankfulness. And take a deep breath in and out. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.